Russ Blessing over on the other side of Hershey, PA, in Palmyra, invented the woolly bugger.
I was writing a book about Great American flies, and I was researching the woolly bugger. And I always thought Barry invented the woolly bugger.
I often got credit for that fly. It was not my fly. It was Russell Blessing's fly.
And Barry probably could have gone along and said, because he was the one that popularized it in Fly Fisherman magazine, and I first heard about it from somebody who got it from Barry Beck, and I always thought Barry developed the woolly bugger. And when I called him to talk to him about it, he said, no, I didn't develop it. He said, I got it from this guy, Russ Blessing, who, was just a fisherman in Pennsylvania who never wanted to become famous or anything. And Barry said, I didn't want to become famous either. I just thought it was a good fly and I would share it with the world.
And in 1975, I was invited to fish with Ed Shank and Barry Beck in Montana for 2 weeks. First thing Barry did is pull out 16 dozen woolly buggers and gave Ed Shank and myself 8 dozen black woolly buggers and black and olive woolly buggers. And that's the first time I saw them. We took those woolly buggers around Montana for 2 weeks and caught a ton of trout. And when you're done fishing, you go in the shops and say, boy, we killed them on the Madison or Hebgen Lake or Quake Lake or the Yellowstone, and this is what we used. And I know for a fact that's really what kicked the woolly bugger off.
Now, woolly bugger is one of the most popular flies in the world, and I think a lot of people that are a little bit newer to the sport would probably guess that originated out west, but nope, that's a Pennsylvania fly.
I used to tell people, if you go into a fly shop and they don't sell woolly buggers, it can't be a good fly shop. It's a universal fly that catches fish. And the secret to that fly was the marabou tail. It pulsated, and the original woolly bugger was basically a woolly worm with a marabou tail. But it worked, and it caught fish, and a lot of fish. So we were in Boca Paya. I don't recall the year, but it was when Hurricane Mitch came through, hosting a trip. We had 16 anglers with us, and the hurricane changed course and was headed for Mexico. So we got a call from Frontiers and said, you've got to get these people back to the airport today. The hurricane's going to hit. And we find out that, yes, they do have seats for our guests, but not for us. So Cathy and I were stuck in a boarded up hotel in Cancun. So Cathy kept thinking and talking about what kind of water we were going to find when we went back to Boca Paya, because we were scheduled to be there for 3 weeks. So we knew we were going back. She tied this fly, and I looked at it, and I said, what is that? And she said, well, I started out with the typical marabou tail that the woolly bugger has, which is part of the best part of the fly, I think, because it pulsates, it moves in the water. But she said, I've created a body that's got a lot more bulk, so it's going to push water. So if the water's a little dirty, it will help the bonefish or even maybe a permit find it. So that was the idea that she had on why we have a very bulky hen hackleback feathered fly, so that it will create some vibration and motion in the water there and attract the fish in what she thought was dirty water. Her original pattern was tan. I've got olive here, which is my favorite color for trout fishing. And it was just stacking one hackle after the other. It's very easy fly to tie. So anyhow, we took this new fly. Well, she had tied a couple dozen of them by the time we went back. When we got back to Boca, there were fish everywhere. And we parked at the mouth of the Boca, and I'm not going to tell you how many bonefish we caught on this fly, but it was a lot. 2 days later, she caught her first permit on it. So in reality, this fly was designed to be used in saltwater. And when we came home, we started using it in freshwater. I've caught some really, really large fish on this fly because it does exactly what she wanted it to do. It pushes water, creates noise, and when it crossed over into freshwater, the success we had with it, it became one of Umpqua's flies that they offer, and she was an Umpqua tire. I'm going to put just a little bit of an orange throat on here, just a little throat color. I often do orange and red, either one, just to give it a little throat. Cathy used silicone legs on that super bugger on her first fly that she tied, and we continue and still to this day do, because silicone legs will tend to float. If you cut them and just put them in a glass of water, you'll see that they immediately want to come to the surface. And the whole idea of that was during that strip flip technique, when it pauses, that the legs would try to come to the surface and make it look even a little more lifelike. We have a fly that's going to create a lot of noise, movement, vibration, a lot of action. Obviously, we'd head cement that in the end if we wanted to, but we have a very easy to tie super bugger, and it's just one buggy looking fly.